Queen's University student James McNutt uses a power wheelchair to get around campus, and he performed his own accessibility audit to highlight some of the barriers he faces every day, and he caught it all on video.
In these videos, James McNutt, who has cerebral palsy, attached a camera to his wheelchair to capture the daily barriers he experiences on campus. We catch up with him and chat with the assistance of his personal care worker, Katie Marie McNeil.
So I have a unique experience as a wheelchair user, and most people who plan university buildings do not use wheelchairs, so I wanted to give a more in-depth perspective.
Inspired by his own challenges, James decided to approach the administration at Queen's University with a proposal to use his video project as a tool to raise awareness.
They were very receptive. I was actually able to work with campus planning. And I was able to use their resources.
Andrew Ashby is the accessibility coordinator for Queen's. He also uses a mobility aid to get around. He worked as a liaison with James on this project.
The videos themselves really demonstrate the varying levels of barriers that exist, not only on campus, but out there in society in general. From big barriers where a door might not open fully to little barriers like placement of a garbage can.
Andrew recalls the initial reaction to the videos that were posted to the university's Accessibility Hub online.
A lot of people were really surprised at those little things, and the big one was the lift in the back quarry hall not working properly, and James being stuck in there for at least a minute or so. So a lot of people were really surprised by that, and were a little shocked by that could happen. And so it's good to highlight those things and increase that awareness.
Andrew adds that the timing of the project could not have been better.
He did work with campus planning and development, and they provided some guidance and support, because in conjunction with the project James was doing, that department was also looking for any deficiencies under the interior building code and the ODA as well. So it was a nice timing.
For both James and Andrew, part of that awareness is to stop and think about what disability and accessibility means to our society.
Okay, so if someone is a wheelchair user, the only time they encounter difficulty is if there's no ramps, for example, and the moment you consider the wheelchair user in the construction of the environment, I don't want to say the disability goes away, but it is mitigated.
To me, access is accessibility for everyone, not just person with disabilities. So it kind of highlights those bigger questions of what is accessibility and who defines what is accessible and what is not. Because it's not the same for anyone with a disability, right? We're all individuals.
And James wants to encourage others to start conversations as well.
Wherever the barrier is, whether it's educational.
No matter what the barriers, whether it's educational, physical, or whatever type of other barrier you may face, that you should speak out, because you are the only person who knows your own needs.
James has received awards on campus and from the city of Kingston for this work. But recognition is not the end game for James, and he plans to continue his mission.
We are responsible.
Well, that's community, because I think we're all responsible to make the world a better place for people who come after us.
I'm working to
I'm working to videotape other buildings and going to meetings to improve accessibility on campus, bit by bit.
I like how James took it upon himself to draw attention to existing barriers and to inspire change.
It's awesome to see how receptive Queen's University was to working with James. I know his efforts will go a long way to making sure that the school is more accessible for future students.
The world could use more people like James.
You said it, Grant. And you know what? I think the Honorable Carla Qualtrough, Minister of Sport and Persons with Disabilities, would agree. She just announced that starting this spring, for the first time in years, there will be an annual National Week devoted to inclusion and accessibility.
That's right. From May 28th to June 3rd, National Accessibility Week will celebrate, promote, and highlight inclusion and accessibility in our communities and workplaces across the country.
And let's not forget about schools and, like you mentioned, people like James. If you'd like more information, you can head to canada.ca/accessible-Canada.